All right. So that
All
was the
right.
first thing. So that was science, but I guess
Yeah.
we can now talk about any other things.
Yeah. Next topic that I have, I don't know if you want to talk about it right now, is driver of the day was
Oh,
Charles Leclerc.
yeah, easily.
Obviously, he got pole position. We can get it just out of the way because I think, I
Oh,
mean, I go
actually,
ahead.
since you mentioned this and since you love complaints, this is something that I'll complain about every single weekend. Is the driver of the day
You
voting?
want to talk about it on the complaints, complaint section?
Fine. I mean, fine. We can wait until then, but whatever. It is a complaint of mine. Anyways, we'll get to it.
So Charles Leclerc, I just want to talk about him because obviously we're doing the contrast between Carlos Sainz and the other Ferrari team member, which is Charles Leclerc.
Yes,
So for Charles specifically, what do you think of his weekend?
Charles. Of course. I mean, of course, he gets the legendary 5 out of 5. I mean, it was a spectacular. It's not like he had to show everything off, right? Like he didn't have to do everything. And there was a chance where like he messed up one of the race car start, safety car start.
Safety cars, yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, that was like the tiniest thing that I saw. Everything else, he drove perfectly. I mean, he was fast. I think he was faster than at least one of the testing. He got pole position. He got the fastest lap. He led every lap, and then he won the race. I mean, like you can't ask for anything better out of your driver. And
Mhm.
he got to stay above Verstappen the entire weekend too. So it's like, I mean, yeah, 10 out of 10 or 5 out of 5.
Yeah. It seems like, when you have like Carlos Sainz, it's like, look where the car can be. And then you
Yeah.
have Leclerc like actually winning the race. You know, at what point in the season with Charles Leclerc, like, how I think since the beginning of the season, we've been saying like, hey, maybe the guy that's going to win the championship this year is going to be Verstappen.
Yeah.
But Leclerc looks really strong.
Yeah.
At what point do we change our mind to being like, this is Leclerc's championships to lose? Is that
Um,
happening now?
I
Is that
think,
like,
I think we're at that point where it's like it looks like he's got a decisive advantage. Like, but I will say it's not for sure yet because we've been in like I know we've been in like some heavy engine circuits, but not really as heavy. And the one like
yeah,
Saudi Arabia was really heavy, and he couldn't win because the car wasn't there. Bahrain, for some reason, the Ferraris have always been good in Bahrain. I'm not really sure if I understand that, but like in less engine heavy, they're really good in the heavier engine circuits. It's gonna be interesting to see how they perform, like your Imolas, your Silverstones, your Azerbaijans, or Bakus, whatever. It's gonna be interesting how they perform. Until we see like the results of what the Ferrari can do on this, it's just too early to say. And there's generally speaking more heavy engine tracks than there is like curvy tracks. In my experience, that's why Mercedes tends to do well in the championships because they used to be good at those, and now the Red Bulls are good at those, and we haven't gotten to them. So
yeah.
once we get to them and we see the Red Bulls, and I'm sure there's gonna be some Max Verstappen wins somewhere in there. Then I'll be able to have a better sense. So probably by the end of the European season, I think we should have like a better idea. And if Leclerc's still on top, then we will say like this is his championship to lose. At the moment, even though he's got a decisive advantage and a decisive lead too, where like even if he was to not finish a race and the next guy wins, he's still gonna be in the championship. I it's it I can't just call it. There's too many races, especially like engine heavy races. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
Okay. That's all I got for Leclerc.
All right.
All right.
What's next? Science?